Hello all, welcome to Abhiram IAS Academy. Let us go through the daily chronicles of January 31st, 2025. So today we are going to discuss about artificial intelligence in the backdrop of DeepSeek. Okay, that is a disruptive AI initiative by China. So it is relevant for your GS3 topic, Science and Technology, Awareness in the Fields of Robotics and AI, and also the subtopic indigenization of technology. India has also come up with the proposal to start its own foundational AI model. Okay, so we are going to discuss about this also. So what are the fundamental differences between artificial intelligence and humans? Humans have consciousness. Okay, that is nothing but awareness of one's own existence. They will have emotions, they will have thoughts, but AI doesn't have this. Okay, and also it lacks free will and intention. What is intention? It is nothing but a deliberative state of mind which will drive one's actions, which is lacking in AI. So humans have self-motivation, goals, desires, all these are lacking in AI right now. And humans also have understanding. They can learn from experience, okay, beyond the external programming, that is the programming of humans by the society or family. Beyond them also, the humans can take some decisions, okay, so which is lacking in AI. It has actions based on the predefined programming, okay. So, and also one major aspect is emotions. So AI can simulate the emotions, but it cannot really feel them. So that is one major difference between humans and AI. So we experience emotions, we have empathy, okay, and also we exercise moral reasoning. All this will influence the decision making of humans, okay. So let us go through some basic definitions, okay. So what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is nothing but it can be either a software, okay, or machines which can actually mimic human intelligence, okay. So that is your artificial intelligence. It has numerous types also. And what is machine learning then? So machine learning is a subset of this AI, okay. In this, the machines or the software programming might actually improve their performance, okay, on a continuous basis because of the data. So they will continuously improve depending on the data given to them, okay, and enhance their performance. So that is, they will learn through their experience. So that is machine learning. Then what is deep learning? So deep learning is another subset of this machine learning, okay. It is a subset of machine learning. It will use artificial neural networks, okay, to solve any kind of complex computational calculations, okay. So all kinds of complex mathematical calculations can be solved using the artificial neural networks. It is almost like human brain. It functions in a way mimicking the human brain. That is nothing but artificial neural networks. Then what is LLM or large language model? So LLM is another type of machine learning which will have learning because of vast data sets or text, majorly text. So it will learn based on the inputs, okay, like vast amount of data sets will be there and it will try to learn them, okay. It will learn, it will predict, and it will generate the language response. So that is your large language model. And what is GPU? So GPU is nothing but graphic processing unit. That is a specific type of hardware, okay. This hardware is mainly designed for parallel computations on a large scale. So not just one computation, thousands of computations will be exercised parallelly by different GPUs. Examples are NVIDIA, A100 or H100. So these are nothing but your GPUs, and these are important for your AI model development, or even training AIs. So these are your basic definitions of the terms we are going to discuss in the coming articles. So what are different types of AI then? So AI can be classified into different types based on the capabilities, based on the learning approach, based on applications, and also functionalities. So what about capability based classification? So capability based classification, we have narrow AI, okay? It is also called as weak AI because it has domain specificity. It can only perform specific tasks. It can be like your Siri, okay? And even the ChatGPT. So these are specific domain based tasks, okay? That is your narrow AI. What is general AI then? It is also called as strong AI. That is a general purpose. Okay, it is a general purpose AI. It will think, okay, and also learn just like humans. So that is the specialty of general AI. It is still theoretical, under developmental stage or research stage. Then what is super AI or super artificial intelligence? So this is the type of AI. It is still under hypothesis. Okay, it is still under hypothetical stage, and it is a futuristic concept where the artificial intelligence will surpass the human intelligence. So that is the super AI. So these are different types of AI based on the capabilities. Next, we have different types based on functionalities. So functionality, it can be your reactive machines or limited memory AI and theory of mind AI and also self-aware AI. So what is reactive machine? It doesn't have any particular memory. It will perform the tasks right now based on the current inputs alone. That is, it doesn't have any past memory. It is very reactive. So it can be something like your chess AI, okay? That is IBM's Deep Blue can be an example. Then we have limited memory AI. That means it may not have permanent memory, but it can have limited memory. That is, it can use the past data for its decision making, something like your self-driving cars, okay? Based on the past data, it can analyze the patterns required for your decision making, and then it can take some decisions, but it has limited memory. Unless you are programming it, it cannot have permanent memory, okay? So that is limited memory AI. And then we have theory of mind AI. So it is still under research stage. What is theory of mind AI? So theory of mind AI is nothing but the AI that understands your emotions, okay? It can understand your emotions, and correspondingly, it will change its communication behavior also. So it can be helpful for mental health counseling, okay? It can be helpful for mental health counseling and also your everyday realistic AI assistant. So it is still under research stage. Then we have self-aware AI. We have seen that right now AI doesn't have the consciousness or self-awareness, but this is the hypothetical AI that is having self-awareness or consciousness. So it is still hypothetical stage. Next, based on learning approaches, what are different types? So we have supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and also reinforcement learning. So what is supervised learning? It can have inputs like different data sets, but the inputs need to be labeled for specific outputs. So that is your supervised learning. And whereas unsupervised learning is nothing but the data need not be labeled. So it can identify if there are any hidden data styles, okay, some hidden data patterns that can help in identifying something like your bank frauds. So by looking at the data sets, even without any specific instruction or programming, it can simply identify any kind of anomaly. So that is unsupervised learning, whereas supervised learning is basic level data labeling. It is trained only on the basic data and something like your spam filters. So that is the example for supervised learning. And reinforcement learning is where this DeepSeek is using this, okay? So that is reinforcement learning technology. So it learns through rewards and penalties on a continuous basis. That is, to make the futuristic decisions, it will also make sure the past decisions are also considered. So that is, it learns through rewards and penalties, something like AlphaGo and any kind of robotic controls are all using this reinforcement learning. That is, it uses trial and error approach in its learning. Okay, so these are types based on learning approaches of AI. Then we have different types based on applications. So what are different types of applications? We are saying it is mimicking human intelligence, and also there are other types of human applications like your vision, speech, language, any kind of senses or kind of physical tasks. So for performing all these tasks, we can have different AI applications. Okay, so one is language. We have seen natural language processing is one example. Your ChatGPT or Google Translate or Cloud, all these are language processing technologies. And then we have for vision, we have computer vision AI. So this is for image or video analysis, something like face recognition, medical imaging. So all these need computer vision. And your speech recognition, okay, so it can convert the speech to text or text to speech. So this is nothing but speech recognition AI technology. Your Siri or Alexa is an example of this. And then we have machine learning. We have seen it is a type of artificial intelligence where the machine continuously improves its performance based on the given inputs or data. So these are based on algorithms and they will improve based on the data given. So for example, your Netflix content, when you are watching some Netflix content, you will get the recommendations based on your prior watching experience. So that is nothing but machine learning. We also have robotics AI, that is for performing specific types of physical tasks. So that is your robotics AI. And also expert systems. Why do we say it expert? Because it's not just about performing some physical task, but also about making decisions, just like humans. Okay, so it is important for something like your medical diagnosis, okay, and also financial trading boards. So these AIs will make decisions in their specific domains. So these are expert systems AI. And then we also have cyber security. So it will detect and prevent any kind of cyber threats. Okay, examples can be something like your AI driven firewalls. So these are all examples of AI based on applications. The famous quote that need is the mother of invention is very much relevant here because China has innovated its own AI model, that is DeepSeek model, which is not based on high computational power. Okay, it can work on lower amount of GPUs, that is your computational power, with much lower cost also. So this has disruptive potential and it has sent shockwaves in America, especially because all the current AI models are proprietary models and they are also concentrated in America. So let us understand what is this DeepSeek and what is its impact at a global level. So DeepSeek is nothing but a Chinese AI startup. It has developed a model. It is open source. Okay, it is an open source AI foundational model and it challenges the traditional AI developmental beliefs. Two major developmental beliefs in AI is, one is your finance and another is the computational power. So these two aspects are now challenged with this DeepSeek technology because computation, it needs very few GPUs compared to the current ones, and also finances, it is at much lower cost. Okay, so that is the advantage. So it has challenged the traditional AI development beliefs. And what are the key concerns with this? One is the cost has reduced, we have seen, and also computational efficiency is much higher because it doesn't need so many GPUs. With very few GPUs also, it is highly efficient and perform all the computational tasks. And also it is changing the balance of global AI dominance. That is, right now, US is the dominant player in AI field or AI model development, but China is challenging this now. So it raises some questions that are the high-end GPUs even necessary and such high cost are even feasible. So it raises these questions. So it is a game-changing model. It will match the top-tier models also right now. That is in US, your GPT-4 model. This is also one foundational model, and Cloud. All of these models are similar, and with very fewer computational resources, China was able to achieve this. So it uses just 2000 low-end GPUs. Comparatively, OpenAI for its GPT-4 model needs at least 30,000 GPUs, that too advanced ones. So we can understand that the DeepSeek was able to achieve the same computation at a fraction of the GPUs. So instead of the high-end clusters, it relied on just very few 2000 low-end GPUs. So how did it achieve this? It relied on advanced technologies, that is advanced reinforcement learning. It is also called as distillation technique, and also it optimized the memory, that is instead of using the 32-bit floating point numbers, it relied on 8 and 12-bit floating point numbers that reduced its memory footprint needed, and also it was efficient at data processing, and through the advanced learning, that is reinforcement learning, it was able to develop a low cost effective processing model. So that is, instead of the large teacher like model, it tried to develop a compact student model that will just try to mimic the teacher behavior through correct reward mechanisms. So whenever the model performs the correct computation, it will be heavily rewarded. So that is the advanced reinforcement learning technique used here. So with this, it was able to achieve low cost effective computational model. The DeepSeek R1 is also an open source disruptor. So why do we say it as disruptor? Because right now all the AI models are all proprietary models. That is, your ChatGPT is a platform owned, operated and modified by OpenAI. So that is, a parent company will control it. Okay. Unlike that, DeepSeek is open source. Anyone can modify or control it. So that is, researchers can develop if at all they want to modify it. So it is an open source instead of the proprietary models. And another impact it will have is, it will accelerate the democratization of the AI models. It will also challenge the financial dominance. That is, all the current models are heavily valued in the market. For example, OpenAI is valued at $340 billion. But because it is an open source and anyone can perform any research on their own, it can actually challenge the financial dominance also, because it is low cost also. So it can become a disruptor. So what are the global reactions to this DeepSeek? Initially there was skepticism. They did not believe. They even thought it was plagiarism or falsified information. So there was a lot of skepticism because the NVIDIA A100 or H100 GPU are actually banned for exporting from US to China. So that's why they were skeptical. They even thought that these chips are illegally smuggled to China to develop this. So, but all that was proven wrong because the DeepSeek just relied on efficient data processing. Okay. So NVIDIA's value has dropped by 20%. All the current AI giants also saw valuation declines, and DeepSeek also saw rapid downloads, even beating the OpenAI or Google in this artificial intelligence model. So this shows that there is a heavy demand for cost-effective AI models. Okay, so that is the global reaction. And what are the geopolitical and strategic implications of this? So US has concern because it wants the hegemony even in the technology. It banned these GPUs to China just to ensure that it has technological edge over the China. So now it is under threat. So US is concerned, and it says that DeepSeek is a wake-up call for American AI firms. So it is taking this very seriously. It will also probably lead to AI race because the companies in US are now forced to develop low-cost, financially low-cost and also highly effective AI models if they want to survive. So OpenAI, that is Sam Altman, has also acknowledged this. He said that DeepSeek is impressive, and also NVIDIA has acknowledged that it has disruptive potential. So it can actually lead to AI race for dominance in AI. Then China's AI dominance was achieved despite US trade restrictions. So probably these trade restrictions might need to be revisited because they were not effective in curbing the Chinese AI search. And also it has highlighted that there is a shift from hardware driven models to efficiency driven models, because instead of the large amounts of GPUs, we can rely on low-end GPUs also to develop some efficient models. So there is a shift from hardware-driven AI models to efficiency-driven AI models. So that is the major shift. So what is India's role in AI revolution? So seeing the DeepSeek, we are also inspired. We also want to develop some low cost effective AI models, and we want to develop AIs which are suited to India specific requirements, okay, that is which are tailored to the local languages and our own industries and our own needs. And DeepSeek has shown that there is a potential to reduce the reliance on the foreign AI models. Right now it is completely dominated by American firms. So DeepSeek shows that we can break this dominance, and for this definitely government needs to give some strategic policy support to the AI ecosystem and accelerate the development of AI infrastructure at home. So we need to have cost efficient AI which could actually make India a major AI hub. Okay. So what are the strategic considerations for India now? We have seen that instead of the brute computational force, we can develop the low cost effective models just by focusing on the efficiency alone, that is data processing efficiency through advanced reinforcement learning techniques. And also we have to balance the AI partnership with the global players also, because though we are focusing at developing our own sovereign foundational AI model, we might need the partnerships at the global level in future for any kind of technological transfer. And also we need to accelerate the investment in R&D and also different collaborations between public and private players. And probably we can rely on high performance clusters. Okay, what are these high performance clusters? They are nothing but integrated computer nodes. So there will be different nodes. These are nothing but high performing computers. They are placed at different places and they can integrate, okay, their computational power to solve the complex computations at much higher speed. Okay, so that is your high performing computing cluster. So we can try to develop such clusters to support the AI innovation. So what are the observations from this? We have seen that DeepSeek success is a disruptive, okay, and it's a turning point in AI development. And we can also see that we have to shift from capital intensive to efficiency driven innovation. And also it shows that the countries need to reassess, that is change their strategies in their technological development. Probably US needs to revisit the trade restrictions because it was not helpful in curbing the China's AI dominance. And also India must act decisively because we cannot afford to left behind. So we also must act soon and decisively to remain competitive in the global AI landscape. So how do we compete with the global players? By our own India's AI mission. So we have to develop our own foundational model. Unlike the traditional model, okay, traditional models are specific, okay, they are domain specific, but foundational model is general purpose model, okay. They are initially trained on vast data sets, that is billions of data sets, okay, and also text. So they will be trained on all these to develop their own foundational model first. So this foundational model can later be developed for specific tasks, okay. They can be scaled up to perform some specific task. So that is the foundational model, and we want our own, that is sovereign foundational model. So already some countries like Australia, Japan, Singapore are developing their own sovereign foundational models. So India also need to develop its own model. We are inspired by the DeepSeek to develop the cost effective AI solutions in this process. So sovereign foundational model, so we have seen that it is a general purpose model and it is trained on vast amounts of data, codes, images, text, all this. Why is it important? To ensure that we have national security concerns, we want to satisfy them, and also we want to preserve our own cultural identity because these data sets are Indian specific, that is they are Indian language specific, okay, and also technological independence. So it might be necessary for ensuring our technological independence, and also it can fuel the economic growth, that is domestic economic growth can also be fueled by this. So how ambitious is India? So recently Ministry of Electronics has announced that we want to develop our own sovereign foundational model, okay. So we are partnering with 6 firms in this process. They are Reliance Jio, Tata Consultancy, Yotta Data, CMS Computers, Controls Data Center or CTRLS Data Centers, and also E2E Networks. So these 6 firms will be collaborating with the government to develop the sovereign foundational model, and we have seen that sovereign models are tailored to our own language, our own culture, and India-specific data sets. So this can actually help in reducing the foreign bias also, because the foreign models are actually based on their own data sets. So we can reduce such biases also, and these models are scalable on a sustainable basis because it is sovereign, okay? That is our own, India's own model. And it is sustainable, scalable, and also we want to ensure ethical AI development, and also we invited proposals to make sure it is inclusive also, okay? So what is the timeline then? So the timeline is around 8 to 10 months, okay? And also some say it can actually be finished within 4 to 6 months also. So these are the points with relevant to the sovereign model. So what are the government provisions for developing AI infrastructure and GPU procurement? So we are spending 10,372 crore under India AI mission for this purpose, and we are also deploying 18,693 high-end GPUs for this purpose, that is to develop the sovereign foundational model, and all the latest GPU models will be used in this. So what are they? H100, H200, MI325 and MI300X. So these are different high-end GPU models, okay? And the project partners are, we have seen all the 6 firms and also Locus Enterprises Solutions, okay? This foundational model can probably give us a lot of competitive edge also, because it can actually set the AI compute rate of just 115 rupees to 150 per GPU hour. So right now it is at $2.5 to $3 benchmark, so that is 250 rupees. So we have reduced this drastically to just 150 per GPU hour cost. For students, it will be even less than that, just 100 rupee GPU per hour. And then it relies on algorithmic efficiency to reduce the cost, and it will also reduce the dependency on the foreign players. We have seen sovereign model will help us in technological independence, and also it can lead to affordable AI research because it is low cost and it is scalable, accessible to everyone. So it can probably boost India's competitiveness in the global AI landscape. So that is the advantage of these models. So how does government plan to fund this project? It has adopted a 2-pronged model. One is the direct funding approach, where the government funds the AI developers directly, and another is equity-based funding. So that is, it will just create a platform for private players to interact and invest in the different AI developers. So that is the funding approach, and also it has incentives, especially if you are a long-term AI seeker or AI developer, you will have additional incentives. And also for the students, any kind of research, startups, all of them will also get 40% discount on the GPU usage. So these are the funding mechanisms. Government also has provisions for indigenous GPU development, and it wants to scale up some specific AI applications which might probably help in solving India's pressing challenges. It can be your climate change, it can be your niche requirements, something like learning abilities for disabled. So all these are expected to be solved by scaling up the 18 AI applications which were selected in the fields of agriculture, learning disabilities, and also climate change mitigation. Also, we want to have our own GPUs. So instead of relying on the foreign private players, something like NVIDIA, Intel, AMD, we want to have our own GPU industry also. This is mainly to reduce the dependency on the foreign supplier, because just like for China, simply tomorrow US can ban all its export to other countries also. We never know. So we want to have our own GPU industry also. So what are the strategic considerations that India should consider in its future roadmap in AI development? So one is, we have to adopt balanced AI strategy. That is, we can focus on developing our own AI models, but also we need to have global collaborations. We cannot compromise on that because we might need the technological transfer in future. So we need to ensure we have consistent global collaboration also, and also increase the government R&D funding, okay? And even encourage and incentivize private players to invest in the AI development. India also needs to develop its own high-performing computing clusters, just like the others. For example, in US we have Summit, and Lumi is in Europe, and Fugaku is in Japan. India also has such clusters, that is Paramsiddhi, Pratyush and Mihir also. So Pratyush and Mihir is for weather forecasting, and also it is important for training the AI models and driving the AI innovation. Okay, and we also need to adopt and encourage open source research, because only then it can drive innovation at a large scale. So how can we conclude? We can say that India AI mission and the decision to have our own sovereign foundational AI model is the right step. If we want to have our own role in the global AI landscape, we need to act decisively, and we need to act fast, and also invest in R&D on a large scale. So that's how we can conclude. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to Abhiram IAS Academy.